A new and unsettling twist in the story of all those Americans with contaminated water in their homes in West Virginia. Thousands have been told the tap water is once again safe. But tonight, a new warning: pregnant women should not drink it.
Just as the water crisis in West Virginia seemed to be easing, an urgent new alert.
New warning tonight for those who are pregnant. You should not be drinking the water.
9 counties are dealing with a chemical spill. It contaminated the water supply. Up to 300,000 people are being told not to touch the tap water.
Crowds filled stores in West Virginia Thursday night, stocking up on everything from water to ice. Demand for the items so high, shelves were wiped clean.
Everybody's wanting water. There is no water, and that brings concern.
I got a buggy full of ice up here, so it'll turn into water. But I mean, you can't live without water.
Water in West Virginia is still unusable.
Now it's utter chaos.
Eyes burning.
It's a zoo in here, isn't it?
It's a zoo.
If I can't take a shower, it's going to be ugly.
Local tap water not safe for drinking, cooking, bathing, or even washing dishes. The question: when will this problem be fixed?
Tonight, 300,000 people in West Virginia are being told to stay away from their tap water.
The people of Charleston, West Virginia, learned just how precious clean water is.
What the chemical spill taught us is that water is extremely valuable, and we just often take it for granted because we have so much of it.
West Virginians on all levels and all walks of life would serve themselves well to use the chemical spill as an excuse to be ready and proactive for the negatives that will eventually occur in life.
We need to let people know we've just received this information from the governor's office. It's a do not use the water order for a number of counties in our viewing area.
From a purely journalistic standpoint, what a story, just an utter failure at all levels, business, government, community.
If something like this would have happened in New York City, the entire world would have been paying attention to it. And they would have been hungry for every detail. Granted, part of that's a matter of scale and population and how many people were affected, but it's still a third of a million people. 300,000 is a gigantic number.
Until the public becomes aware of what's around them, the science has less value.
Journalists aren't scientists necessarily. We take what they say and try to distill it down, which is oftentimes really, really difficult work.
There's a couple of things that limit the value of science. And most notable among those is transferring that information, making that information become part of everyday life, and part of people's awareness. So scientists like me, we can sample streams every day, all day, everywhere, and we do, right? But if residents in these areas aren't aware of it, or if it doesn't become part of what they're conscious of, it has less value.
It's interesting because Don Blair and I actually talk about this pretty passionately, because if you look at the power of what citizen journalism did to really give voice to groups that had not been able to speak for themselves. They had to rely on sort of official voices or mediated voices and brands and companies. Where it gives rise to things like Arab Spring or Black Lives Matter. That's the power of technology and citizen journalism.
The role of Twitter was, it's impossible to imagine what that situation would have been like without social media, especially Twitter.
This event started on Twitter with Governor Earl Ray Tomlin's initial tweet a little after 5:30 that day. And it became a Twitter event. It became a social media event. And I think it's one of the best examples I've seen of the way social media very quickly engages large numbers of people and can give quick snippets of information, updates to a continuing story in a very effective way.
When I first found out about the water leak, I was actually in Ripley working for the day, and it was on Twitter. I'd just checked briefly, and there was a proclamation from Governor Tomblin that said, "Do not use the water in Charleston." And that was really kind of the gist of it. I didn't know what else to expect, and I was just looking for more answers as everybody was, I'm sure, but it was just kind of a panic thing, thinking that the water is out. There is no water. Do not use your water.
I mean, I think we jumped in following by the hundreds as the days went on. And again, that was a mix of methods of aggregating or retweeting certain trustworthy sources or blasting out information about where water would be available, clean water would be available. It's impossible to imagine what it would be like without it.
Even once the water was turned on, people didn't believe the water was safe. There are some who live in parts of those 9 counties in southern West Virginia who still don't believe their water is safe.